We start our daily the moment I walk in the door. This is the day. This is how the day goes. I walk in. I'm a little frazzled. I'm a little hangry. I need some coffee. Postman shows up. There's some packages coming in. That's good. That was perfect. It was like it was on cue. I didn't even plan that. See, dude. And I get a coffee, and then I start to come back to life. So I'm going to start this off by talking about this. Someone asked about the MV on the wall. That's not an MV. It's a Gilera, but close because they look almost exactly the same. An early supporter of the shop and a good friend named Doug gave me that bike. And we have a Gilera too. It's in the store. Actually, he had a row of bikes, of MVs and Gileras and such. And he said, pick the one you want, you can have it, which was like amazing, right? Like I think I cried. And there was all these perfectly restored MV Agustas and Gileras and cool stuff. And I like, if you come over from this angle, Corona, I looked at all of them really hard and I chose this one. And you can, it was the rattiest one of the bunch. And he goes, oh, you like them ratty? And I was like, well, I like it original. I like that it has its age and it wears all of its stuff honestly. But the main reason I chose it was that ridge on the top of the tank that you can just see. I call it the tank spoiler. And in fact, it was the inspiration for the tank on the Kawasaki W650 we called a bean, was that ridge up there. Anyway, I got it running. You can see the original carburetor is strapped to the front of the frame. Someone's put a more modern plastic bowl carburetor on it, which makes it run really well. It's a 125. I can't remember what year it was, 59, I don't know, something like that. It's probably in the 60s. And Stefan and I rode, he has a restored Gilera, a really nicely restored Gilera. And we tried to ride these out to Lukenbach for the Harvest Classic one year. And you can post the photo. There's a photo that shows Stefan and I broken down the road after this bike breaking down on me for the 9th time. And it was all the charging system. The charging system was broken. But anyway, his bike still runs. This bike runs just fine, just doesn't have a charging system, and I never bothered to fix it. I hung it on the wall when we moved into this location 8 years ago or 7 years ago, whenever the hell that was, and thought it would just be up there temporarily for a display, and it has not moved since. It's just been sitting there. One day I'll pull it down and we'll get it running again. But either way, just stylistically, I think those old Italian bikes were like the workhorses and still really, really beautiful. We'll do a better profile at one point. Okay, that was a long talk. Let's go make a coffee, because I need a coffee. And they're working on the 6. We'll come back to that. They're doing final assembly on this bike. We'll come back and talk about that in a bit. But first, coffee. What else is going on in here? Oh, we're shooting photos today. This is a top secret bike that we're getting through. We're not allowed to show you, but that's a cool bike. All right, coffee. Coffee. We have decent coffee. This is the first thing I set up in this shop. Was Stefan and I bought this machine used on Craigslist, which was like this crazy expensive thing to us at the time. It was like $500 or $600. We use Intelligentsia coffee. It's like the Truman Show. Intelligentsia coffee tastes good going down. We have good friends at Intelligentsia, and actually, I think what I'm using right now is Intelligentsia Black Cat. That's a different kind. This is really good. Anyway, we're kind of coffee nerds. Like, we're nerds about most everything, but we're also nerds about our coffee. So this is a Spanish espresso machine that I bought on Craigslist for like $700. And I did the math one day. I don't know what it is right now, but something like 10,000 shots of espresso have been pulled through this machine. Actually, you know what? It might be 20 or 30,000 shots of espresso have been pulled on it just since it got here, and it was used when it showed up here. So this thing has been a total freaking workhorse. So how I make my coffee is I like it sweet and white. You know how it is. But you know, there's different days. It might just be an espresso. Right now, I need the sugar because I had one too many drinks last night with Andy, the fabricator. All right, so I've got a little sugar, got a little half and half. I'm gonna steam some milk. This is kind of boring and tedious, but some people I don't think realize how easy it is to make a really nice coffee. I'm making what you would call like a Breva latte because it's going to be more espresso and coffee than cream, but it will have cream in it quite a bit. So like a Cortado, mix between a Cortado and a Breva, somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know a whole lot about coffee. I just know what I like the taste of. That's pretty much it. We have a really nice grinder. What are these, like $2,000 probably for that grinder? Again, I traded some stuff to get it used because we want nice stuff, but we don't want to pay for nice stuff, I guess you could say. And we're kind of resourceful. This machine's been rebuilt a couple times too. There's one double shot. I'm gonna do it again because I want a double this morning. I need a double this morning. You know, some coffee nerd is gonna tell me I'm doing it wrong, and that the pull's too long, or the machine's not right, or the tamp is too tight, or the grind was too loose. I don't know. I noticed that I'm getting like a nice creamy white, creamy espresso, and that's about right. You want to be on this machine maybe 30 seconds long, and I'm almost there, I think. I'm not timing it, but. And a little bit of that. Done. Now I have coffee. We can do the rest of the tour. Let's go talk to, who are we talking to? Auerbach, about the 6th, that's right. Doc and Stefan and Auerbach are finishing the final assembly of what we're calling the Revival 6. How are you feeling?
Doing pretty good.
You probably had coffee hours ago.
Oh yeah. 2 cups already.
2 cups?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why you're all jazzed.
Oh yeah.
This is you, jazz hands.
No.
No. How's it going?
It's good. Everything went together pretty well. Trying to get the new tires mounted. Got to be real careful with the powder, obviously. Trying not to chip it.
So, on the powder coating on the rims, you mean?
Yeah.
So, you'll notice here we have a motorcycle with 2 wheels, but we have 3 tires. So, we bought 2 of these tires. Kind of, I guess, really, Stefan, like the overall design, you don't have to talk because you don't have a mic on, I know, but the overall design was influenced by the size of these tires, these specific tires. We picked the tires and the motor before we picked anything else. And we ordered these from Coker, and they're reproduction Firestone clincher tires. But if you can see it, there's a subtle difference in color. Actually, the one that was the darkest. So we had this tire, right? It was this tire, and that tire showed up, and they were a different color. They were just, I don't know if you can see it, but this one was dark and yellowish, and this one was gray after we went to clean them up for final assembly. We've already ridden this bike. They rode this bike with these tires on it. They're not that scuffed, you can't see them, but they were scuffed. Anyway, so we couldn't put the bike together. Here, you can see it better here probably. We couldn't put the bike together with 2 tires that were a different color. So they were gracious enough to send us 2 more overnight, and we're gonna try to get these on there. These are fine. Yeah? You judge this is okay? All right. And then that's going to be a mug. What is the size of those again? I can't remember. 28. Yeah, 28-inch tires. What's been the major challenge on the assembly?
The major challenge on these is just taking care of the finishes. You can see we got rags on everything, making sure we don't scratch it, because at this point everything has been assembled, so it's really just remove, rinse, and repeat, I guess. So yeah, it's just
the polish and not scratching it.
Yeah, gloves on everything, taping off everything. You can see all my masking tape from trying to protect this rear swing arm as I put the chain on, just because the chain will destroy that swing arm so quick.
You can come around here and see, like, all this when we put it together the first time just wasn't this clean and perfect. And so we had it all together, then took it all apart. Here's that cover that Andy was making, if you guys remember. He was sanding this out. It's all finished up. All these parts that are gray, that may not look like gray, but these are powder coated gray, were chromed. So the chrome had to be removed, and then they were powder coated this kind of subtle gray color, which kind of matches the tires really well, actually. That worked out perfectly. Yeah. So, yeah, and you can see the springs up here if you look. We went from the, I'm sorry, someone's corrected my pronunciation of Uhlins. That is, I don't even know if that's right. I think that's right. I was saying them Olins because we're Americans and we can do whatever the hell we want. But the yellow just didn't work well. I think the only color on the whole bike is going to be these wires.
Yeah, and then the little brass inserts
and the
here.
Brass, yeah.
That's about all you got.
That's it. It's really good. All right, well, I'll leave you alone. We'll come back and talk about it when it's finished, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't wait to ride that. All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, look, it's Alec. He's doing a complete rewire with an M unit on a pretty cool Ducati. We'll come back to that. Oh, God, come on this side. Look at that. Alec in heaven.
Spaghetti heaven.
Spaghetti heaven. Pink, blue, green, subtle hues of purple. Let's go to... Everybody's been asking, where do we make the leather products? Because we make them in the house. So there's another corner of Revival you're going to get to see. That few people get to see. Well, I guess everybody gets to see it now. It's always a mess in here because they're always creating. But you know. Oh, look!
Here I
Patrick's at work!
I made it.
You made it?
Today.
You made it?
Yeah.
And Courtney's here. What you doing? It's okay.
I'm sewing the seat.
Oh, that's
for
the
the
seat for the
Brava.
Brava. Gotcha. For the custom Brava. I like this like a test of stitches and colors and just little stuff. So these geniuses, right? Is that too
Sure.
much of a statement?
No.
My favorite,
I'll take
really,
it.
Corona, you should only be filming the floor. This is just a few days worth of, right?
Yeah, that's me not being here for 2 days also.
Courtney got lost. She couldn't find the trash can. So she just threw it all on the ground. Ooh, look, BMW colors. So there's just stuff lying around here everywhere. As they're just creatively spinning out cool stuff.
Yep.
What do you guys, I want you to kind of explain to them what all you do.
Oh man. So in addition to doing custom work and panniers and seats and grips, so we'll do a lot of that. But we also do a lot of, we're trying to do essentially a leather line where we're going to be doing men's accessories, wallets, keychains, panniers, tote bags, and then, I mean, we want to do duffels, just everything under the sun, really.
I don't just want to do duffels, we've already got.
We have like, these are all the patterns that either are things that are in production or they're things that have been started and sampled that we're just not quite perfected yet, so we haven't shown them to the public. So,
But there's up here for a year and a half, 2 years prototyping, designing, and actually building every single piece we do, whether it's the leather wallets. What she's doing here is batching wallets that we're doing that we've custom designed with liners and whatnot.
yeah, so we have
I love this. I love seeing this is a pattern for the Gucci Brava. This is the pattern for the top. She's already done. Like lots of experimentation. What I'm proud to say is that Courtney never made a motorcycle seat outside of this place, and she's turned out to be better at it than anybody we've ever met. So
That's true.
she's really, really good at it. Like I think your first seat was like the best one we'd ever seen, pretty much. Yeah, it's okay. It's good to brag a little bit. Yeah. And all the exciting products. We'll show you guys more of it as it comes out. There's some over there, Crony, you could show, I suppose. But this is not a presentation room. This is definitely a work room. So,
What? Show you that over there.
oh, you got something over here?
Yeah, these are a lot of
Okay. Yeah, Corona.
some of our
Smaller
finished
pieces.
things that we keep up here away from everybody, so they don't just poach it.
Camera straps, laptop stuff, all of it completely made with American leather.
Tasman,
Tasman
out of
American
Maine.
leather.
Yep.
And even our gloves. These are, anyway, they put the final assembly on these here. So anyway, okay, we'll talk more, I guess, maybe we'll drag Courtney into a conversation about the Brava seat as it comes together. Yeah?
Sure.
All right.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
guys.
Yeah.
All right, see ya. I don't know. We need to get them more space. They need more room and more area to kind of work. Okay, so I want to do a quick wrap up. You can see the stuff moved around here. Look, we got stairs. It's getting better and better. Okay, so we've had a few questions that I'm going to address. Andy for us asks, can you show how you do latches to hold on seats? We'll get to that, I promise. There's a couple different ways we do it. Depends on how we want it to release and how we want it to remove. And then of course, whether or not it has a cowl. There's lots of questions to that. John Power asks, do you guys use 3D printers for any R&D applications? Absolutely. We not only pay somebody to do larger scale stuff and have it printed out of house, but we have a small maker bot that we do some small production. Sometimes we'll reduce it and build it to scale, and then use that to make sure that the design works in reality. But yeah, we're wanting to buy a bigger 3D printer, and we certainly utilize CAD in 3D printing. Lork Loppy asks or says, I can't help but feel many of your bikes have very similar color palettes. That's absolutely true, and kind of forces me to face the reality, I suppose, that I'm typically the one that picks the colors. By typically, almost every single time I pick all the colors with them, and we have conversations about it. Sometimes I need some hand-holding and a little bit of emotional support, like we did with the Odioso that has crazy colors on it. But for the most part, I prefer subtle hues that are complementary without being too contrasty and crazy, and using contrast only when it's appropriate. So I prefer the design of the bikes that we build to kind of stand on their own, and I mean the lines and the curves and the body and the shape of the frame and all those things. I think that's what should speak volumes about the work and creative stuff you're doing, not just bright colors, right? You should be thinking about what it looks like naked in black and white, which is a common thing in design. I mean, any graphic designer will tell you that you want a logo to stand out really well in black and white. If it looks good in black and white, when you go to color it with appropriate colors, it just adds to it. But it needs to stand on its own in those kind of monotone colors. So yeah, that's not exactly on purpose, but certainly the reason that they look similar. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, share on Facebook, and share on social media our videos. We want to get more people to watch them. The more people we get to watch them, the more likely we are to do these. This has been a first one we've done in a couple days because we've been super swamped, but we are going to try to devote more time to making it happen. Thanks for watching.
The storms make